But I'm speaking to you today because I've been in your shoes. My school was targeted for closure first in 2007, and I've been a part of this battle since then. I've gone to countless hearings, watching parents and students and communities cry and beg and plead for their schools to stay open. And I'm tired of it. We were a tiny school, no more than 300 students. We had 2 pre-K classrooms and a middle school with grades 5 through 8. None of this is too remarkable. What was remarkable was what we were able to do in that little building. Student achievement had been on the rise for years. We ran one of the first true middle school programs in the city, which allowed our students to take classes with experts in their subject areas and prepare them for high school. Through a lot of hard work by students and staff alike, we gained a certification in the ADVID program. We passed the ISB special education audit, and the auditor told us that we had been one of the best special education programs they had seen. We had a true extended school day. It was an authentic extended school day, and it was there because of the teachers and the parents that let it happen. We also offered parenting classes to our pre-K parents, and we always had a cadre of parent volunteers on hand. The year before our doors were shuttered for good, we won a Spotlight Award from the state of Illinois that is only given to 300 schools a year. These are high-poverty, high-performing schools that they say are overcoming the odds to beat the achievement gap. On top of that, we had a great sense of family between the staff and students alike. We had generations of students that returned year after year, and we knew every parent, every auntie, every dad in the building. Sounds pretty good, right? Anyone that visited us commented on what a wonderful place it was. Unfortunately, the only person from CPS to come visit us was the numbers guy. His job was to calculate space utilization. The year before I began at Dela Cruz, CPS had already cut off our busing. They opened 2 charter schools in our neighborhood, which lured more of our students out. So when the numbers guy completed his report, he said that we were at 61% utilization. The cutoff that year was 50%, mind you, but we were at 61%, and that was enough reason to close us. We later found out the numbers guy had done his math wrong, and we were actually closer to 70, but that's a different story. Long story short, all of those wonderful things that we were doing did not matter to CPS. Our student improvement didn't matter to CPS. Our organic longer day, that didn't matter to CPS. Our students and community didn't matter to CPS. The only thing they cared about, and the only thing they care about now, is closing down authentic neighborhood schools to make way for charter operators and their crony education contractors like AUSL. They closed our successful, well-rounded public school, and the very next year, they opened a charter school in our building. The recent charter report cards show clearly and distinctly that all charter networks, except for one, are not performing up to standard. They are below the district average. This has been a failed reform initiative for the past 15 years, and yet the district continues to insist upon continuing these devastating policies that have led to spikes in violence and receiving schools and push children out of their neighborhood schools. Homelessness and class size, did you notice? Of the schools that are slated for turnaround and closure this year, most have oversized classrooms and high numbers of homeless students. CPS has not provided the support that it is legally and morally obligated to provide. They should be lowering class sizes. They should improve staffing in critical areas and give parents and teachers an opportunity to improve instruction with research-based methods. Dela Cruz was nothing special. I've heard stories of similar accomplishments happening around this city and in all our neighborhood schools. But these are the stories that are hard to find if you watch the news. Have you noticed where CPS holds its press conferences these days? Not in our neighborhood schools that are achieving the great things. We're achieving great things despite the lack of resources provided to us, despite the oversized classes, despite our crumbling buildings, and our lights that aren't working because of the rain, despite the shortage of social workers, nurses, and teachers' assistants. No, CPS, they hold their press conferences in charter schools and AUSL buildings now. We've had nearly 20 years of reform from CPS. During that time, they've destroyed many Dela Cruzes, with closures and turnarounds and phase-outs and reconstitutions and transformations and consolidations. If they really cared about our schools and our children, they would stop putting the resources into failed experiments and start investing in what we have. CPS has created this mess through years of underfunding, understaffing, under-resourcing, and undervaluing our schools and our children. They've vilified our teachers and told our students that they are failures, year after year after year after year.
That's right.
They spread their lies in the media with talking points about failure, but those of us who have worked in this system, gone to school in this system, or have students in this system, we realize what the failure is. The CPS has failed to live up to its responsibility to the students of Chicago by listening to business people and corporate interests rather than the educators that they employ. They've ignored the voices of parents and community members who tell them every year that they need more resources instead of new charter schools and new curricula and a new magic bullet program that will somehow make up for the years of neglect. Now is the time. Everyone in this room knows the truth. We know who the real failures and successes are. We know how to make real improvements in our schools. We've been doing it for years in spite of CBS's sabotage. There's proven research-based strategies and things that we as teachers and parents can do to improve our schools. It's incumbent upon us to work together to give our schools what they need. This will be a lot of work. This is going to get ugly, but we can do this. We have the knowledge, the experience, and the will to help our students. The most common way that people give up their power is by thinking that they don't have any. You have the power.